Encarnacion, the Executive Director of the International Rhino Foundation, or IRF. I'm pleased to be joining you today on World Rhino Day to bring you highlights from our 2022 State of the Rhino Report. As has been the case in recent years, the overall population of the world's 5 rhino species has again declined, standing at just over 26,000 now. This is a very troubling trend, of course, but fortunately, it's not all bad news. I'll start in Asia, where officials in India announced that the greater one-horned rhino population, found only in Nepal, India, and a little bit in Bhutan, has increased to 4,014 individuals. That's up from a low of 100 individuals in the early 1900s. The population is increasing largely due to the governments of India and Nepal creating habitat for rhinos, while also implementing strict measures to prevent poaching losses. The program known as Indian Rhino Vision 2020, or IRV 2020, came to a close in 2021 with a final translocation of 2 rhinos from Kaziranga National Park to Manas National Park. IRV 2020 was established in 2005 for the purpose of increasing the rhino population in the state of Assam to 3,000 rhinos in 7 protected areas. Thanks to concerted conservation efforts, the numeric goal was met, and rhinos are now found in 4 protected areas: Popator Wildlife Sanctuary, Orang National Park, Kaziranga National Park, and Manas National Park. This year, the Indian Rhino Vision partners met to outline goals for the coming years, with plans to build on the successes and lessons learned from the prior program. Unfortunately, meetings to approve the plan, now called IRV 2.0, were delayed due to the pandemic, but the new program is scheduled to begin soon under the leadership of the Assam Forest Department, along with the supporting partners, including IRF, and translocations could begin again by the end of this year. Poaching remains a threat, but authorities in both India and Nepal have had really good success in significantly reducing the amount of poaching through intense security and strict enforcement of wildlife crime laws. There was only 1 recorded poaching incident in India in 2021, and there's only been 1 recorded incident in the first half of 2022 as well. In Nepal, which has 752 of the total greater one-horned rhino population, officials also reported only 1 poaching incident in the past year. 12 suspected poachers were arrested during the year in Nepal, hopefully serving as a deterrent to future poaching activities. In addition to poaching, climate change is an increasing threat to greater one-horned rhinos, impacting their habitat by allowing more invasive plants to take over grasslands, as well as causing traditional water holes to disappear because of drier conditions. Several groups, including IRF, are supporting programs to restore both native grasses and water holes to help increase rhino carrying capacity in Chitwan National Park and elsewhere. Officials are forecasting a continued growth rate of 3 to 5% for rhino populations in Nepal, and hope that habitat management activities will help them reach or exceed this goal. Indonesia is home to 2 of the 5 remaining rhino species, the Javan rhino and the Sumatran rhino. Both are critically imperiled. Fewer than 80 Sumatran rhinos survive in small populations in Indonesia's Gunung Leuser and Waikambas National Parks, both located on the island of Sumatra, and a few isolated animals that inhabit central Kalimantan on the island of Borneo. While the government's official estimate is fewer than 80 individuals, a recent report by Traffic and the Asian Rhino Specialist Group of the IUCN Species Survival Commission estimated the Sumatran rhino population could be as low as 34 to 47 individuals, a decline of 13% in recent years. Because so few Sumatran rhinos remain, and because those few surviving animals have increasingly moved into more remote areas to avoid human disturbance, it is extremely difficult to track them and to accurately estimate the population. It also makes it difficult for breeding age animals to find one another, and reproductive problems generally occur if females do not become pregnant. The government of Indonesia and rhino experts have agreed that the only way to bring the Sumatran rhino back from the brink of extinction is to consolidate the widely dispersed wild populations into managed breeding facilities under an emergency action plan. In late 2021, Indonesian government officials and conservation partners broke ground on a new Sumatran rhino sanctuary in the Leuser ecosystem in Aceh province. The new sanctuary will be the third breeding facility, joining the current facilities in Waikambas National Park, as well as a small sanctuary in East Kalimantan that houses Pahu, a female Sumatran rhino captured in 2018. The new sanctuary is scheduled to be completed by the end of the year, and hopefully successful capture attempts can populate it quickly. To further help this troubled population, this past May, two prestigious institutions, one in Indonesia and one in Germany, signed an MOU outlining a new collaborative strategy to establish the Center for Assisted Reproductive Technologies and Biobank. The center will provide a state-of-the-art laboratory, networking opportunities for scientists and others, and capacity building for assisted reproduction techniques and biobank applications, particularly, but not exclusively, for Sumatran rhinos. Turning to Javan rhinos, Indonesia's other species, the Indonesian Ministry of Environment and Forestry estimates the Javan rhino population at 76 individuals in 2022, just one more than last year's estimated 75. Javan rhinos are found only in Ujung Kulon National Park, where 10 years ago there were fewer than 50 individuals. The rhino population appears to be slowly increasing, with at least one new calf recorded every year since 2012. But Javan rhinos face increased threats from human encroachment in Ujung Kulon, putting them at risk of poaching. The population is also threatened by limited habitat and potential natural disasters. IRF is working with the Indonesian government, park officials, and other partners to increase the amount of suitable habitat and to improve security there. In Africa, the two rhino species, the white rhino and the black rhino, are found in 15 countries. The African Rhino Specialist Group estimates there are currently just over 22,000 rhinos in Africa, a decrease of 6% since the last specialist group report in 2017. Poaching remains the greatest threat in Africa. Since 2017, there have been 2,700 recorded rhino poaching incidents, 90% of which took place in South Africa. In 2020, when governments implemented COVID lockdown measures, there was a significant reduction in poaching, but now that travel has reopened, poaching is on the rise again. Because they are more numerous and because of their more social nature, white rhinos are particularly hard hit by poaching. The white rhino population has decreased by almost 12% in the last 4 years, from an estimated 18,000 to fewer than 16,000 today. On the other hand, the African Rhino Specialist Group estimates a 12% growth rate in black rhino populations during the same time period, from approximately 5,500 individuals in 2017 to more than 6,000 today. Black rhinos suffered a drastic decline at the end of the 20th century. Between 1970 and 1993, the population of black rhinos decreased by a staggering 96%, from approximately 65,000 to only 2,300 surviving in the wild. In fact, IRF was founded 30 years ago based on concerns over this decline. Since 1996, intense anti-poaching efforts and strategic translocations to safer areas have allowed the species to slowly recover. South Africa counts for about half of the total black rhino population and is also home to most of the world's white rhinos. Again, poaching is decimating populations here. 259 rhinos have been poached for their horns in the first 6 months of 2022, 10 more than were poached during the same time frame last year. Kruger National Park, which is home to the largest population of rhinos in the world, has reported 82 rhinos poached so far this year. Namibia has the second largest population of rhinos in Africa and is home to the largest black rhino population. The country is currently estimated to hold just over 2,000 black rhinos and more than 1,000 white rhinos. Etosha National Park in northeast Namibia has the world's largest black rhino population, and rhino numbers are increasing there under an innovative conservation program supported by the government and implemented by IRF partner Save the Rhino Trust. The Community Rhino Ranger Incentive Program was initiated in 2012 when poaching was escalating in that country. It emphasizes the hiring and training of rangers from local communities, making use of local skills and knowledge to improve rhino monitoring while providing employment for community members. Zimbabwe also has a growing rhino population with 616 black rhinos and 417 white rhinos. This is the first time that Zimbabwe has surpassed 1,000 rhinos in over 3 decades. The Lowveld region, where IRF has long supported on-the-ground partners and conservation programs, holds the majority of Zimbabwe's rhinos. This includes Ngorongoro National Park, which had a successful rhino restocking program just last year. Zimbabwe has had 2 consecutive exceptional rainy seasons, creating excellent habitat for rhinos and other wildlife. In the first half of 2022, 6 black and 2 white rhino calves were spotted in the Bubi Valley Conservancy in the Lowveld region. Some of the orphans IRF's on-the-ground partners rescued and rehabilitated in the past few years, such as Pumpkin and Rocky, are thriving in these lush conditions. Thanks to intensive monitoring and protection, poaching has also been significantly reduced in Zimbabwe, from a recent high of 77 poached rhinos in 2019 to just 10 in 2021. 6 poaching incidents have been reported in the first half of 2022, and our partners are working hard to keep that number low. One other country I'll mention is Kenya, which has 938 black rhinos and 873 white rhinos. This includes the last 2 known northern white rhinos, one of 2 subspecies of white rhino, a mother and a daughter. Institutions and researchers from around the world are desperately working to save the northern white rhino by producing embryos from genetic material with the hope of implanting these embryos into southern white rhino females to produce calves. In 3 sets of procedures between October of 2021 and September of 2022, the Biorescue Consortium, a team of scientists and conservationists, created 7 new northern white rhino embryos, bringing the total created to 22. These embryos are cryopreserved and awaiting transfer to southern white rhino female surrogates, hopefully in the near future. The more embryos there are, the greater the chances of eventually producing a northern white rhino calf. If successful, it would be a remarkable achievement for both northern white rhinos and advancing assisted reproduction technologies in general. But the best way to save rhinos is to keep them safe before their numbers get so precariously low. I can't end without sending our heartfelt condolences to the family of Anton Mzumba, head ranger at the Timbavati Reserve in South Africa, who was, by all accounts, the best of rhino protectors. For his dedication, Anton was tragically gunned down while at home with his family on July 26. Anton was an incredible ranger, but sadly not the only one to lose his life in the past year in the line of duty. On behalf of all of us at IRF, I would like to extend our deep gratitude to all these brave men and women and even ranger dogs who put their lives on the line fighting to protect rhinos and other species. These dedicated people believe in this cause, and we do too. Rhinos are too important to lose. We owe it to the rangers and to future generations to give it our best every day to protect and conserve rhinos. This March, IRF joined the government of Indonesia and people around the world in celebrating the birth of a female Sumatran rhino at the Sumatran Rhino Sanctuary in Waikambas National Park. The calf was born to first-time parents Rosa and Andatu, bringing the sanctuary population to 8 rhinos, and I got to meet all of them a few weeks ago, including the new baby. A rare birth like this is the reason for hope that drives every one of us, including Anton and the other rangers, the scientists, the wildlife managers, and you, our supporters, to take every possible action this year and beyond to protect rhinos and see them flourish. The rhinos continue to face many threats. With your support, IRF is doing everything we can to help rhinos and the people who dedicate their lives to them around the world. Working together, we can ensure a brighter future for these incredible animals. You can view IRF's full State of the Rhino report at rhinos.org. Please also see our website for World Rhino Day activities today, and consider making a donation to support rhino conservation. Thank you for your support today and every day.